Okay, hi Emily. So today we're gonna talk about your success story. Basically just from the beginning of when you received the initial appointment and the process that you went through in order to successfully close.
Perfect. Sounds great.
Yeah, awesome. So how did it work? So the first thing was obviously I made the connection and set the appointment. How did things go from there?
Yeah, so you did a great job
Thank
setting
you.
the appointment with Melina. Um, Answered a lot of her questions in regards to like she wanted to be connected with a lender right away, also to see what her options were.
Hmm.
So that same day that we had the showing appointment, she already wanted to talk to a lender. So it made it super seamless. I was able to find a lender within 2 hours of you getting that phone call to be able to speak with her, go over pre-qualifications and get her actually pre-approved before we even went to go see the property.
Yep.
We saw the one property that she was interested in, but there was a couple others that she was interested in also in the same
Hmm.
area. Um, the only problem was though is that it had to be at an open house first before they
Hmm.
would allow showings. So
Gotcha.
it caused a little bit of a delay on that end. But we went, to that first property. I think it was on a Thursday. Went
Hmm.
to the open house that following Saturday, and by that afternoon, we wrote two offers up.
Wow.
Um, and one of them, the offer unfortunately didn't get accepted because
Okay.
they accepted cash, but
Hmm.
the other one did get accepted, and we got closing costs included in that.
Nice.
So we were able to negotiate a really good deal for her.
So
And
let's
she had only
I
been talking to me for about 2.5 weeks.
I wanted to go back real quick because
Yeah.
what was the conversation like as far as getting them, basically the first time you're meeting them, what was the preempting that you did in the communication that you had in order to prepare them to write an offer? And what do you think you did successfully to, make them trust you enough to write an offer the first day you met?
So I think it's really important when you first meet somebody to make a personal connection, relate to them on any level possible, right? Because at the end of the
Hmm.
day, we're humans and we thrive on that human connection.
Yes.
So I was able to become very relatable with her. Unfortunately, at that first appointment, her husband wasn't able to join us. So we had to have a
Mm.
secondary appointment where we could see things together. But I
Okay.
kind of went over the whole buyer's process with her, just educating
Hmm.
her because this is her first time buying a home. So
Yep.
there was a lot of questions that she had that were all completely, normal first time home buyer questions.
Hmm.
And I was able to provide her with a packet, that all of our us agents in our office have and go over that step by step process with her. I let her know that she
Awesome.
can text me at any time. That, even if she thinks it's a odd hour, I would be available to her and
Nice.
answer any questions. So I kept in touch with her, even though we had that first initial appointment and we didn't have another one for a few days.
Hmm.
We still talked every single day. And it could be just
Okay.
something super quick, like,
Yep.
hey, just checking in, like, and kind of built that relationship from there. So when we came
Okay.
down to writing the offer, she was already educated on the process. I let her
Nice.
know that, when you write an offer, it doesn't mean that that's the house you have to buy, right? It's just getting comfortable. And even if you see something else, you can always, rescind that offer and accept another, offer if you like another home better. But
Yeah.
it's just getting in that process of feeling comfortable and knowing that it's not set in stone just because you're writing it up.
Yeah, that's a great way to describe it. I think a lot of people get scared when you are going to write an offer. They think it's something like once it gets accepted, you're an escrow, you can't
Yeah.
pull out or anything like that. So I think the preempting and obviously it's a serious, offer, when you're putting it on the table, but maybe not as serious as people think it is, where they just altogether say, let's not even write the offer. I want to keep looking,
Right.
so that's really awesome. And so did you before writing the offer, what was the process like as far as contacting listing agents and then the emails out and getting connected with the lender?
Yeah, so for the property that we got accepted for, I had had a serious conversation with the listing agent. right after
Mhm.
we saw the home. Obviously, we had the appointment set up. We were able to view the home. But I just called her at the end of the day. I said, look, my buyer's super serious. She's looking to move really soon. What is it looking like? Is there contingencies on the table? Where they have to find another property and kind of feel out the listing agent to see what we would
Mhm.
need to do to get into escrow and what
Yep.
would be possible. And we had really good open communication. She even like a few days later asked me like, "Hey, like, what do you guys think?" And she texted me at like 10:30 at night. The listing agent did.
Wow.
So obviously we had a really good conversation.
Yep.
And I responded back to her. I didn't care that it was super late. She's like, "Oh my goodness, you responded to me. Thank you so much."
That's awesome.
Which is important when you're working with people because not all agents are the same. Not everybody responds.
Yes.
um, so she knew that I was serious, right? And that I was a responsive agent, which I think helped us make the deal work as well.
For sure. For sure.
Especially with the additional things that I was able to get for the client. But yeah, and so as soon as I sent her the offer, she was like, "Great, I'm going to get it over to the clients today. I'm so happy. Hopefully, your offer looks great. We
Nice.
should be able to do business together." And it was just very seamless.
Awesome. Were you competing with other offers, or was it kind of a clean deal?
I think for this one, it was pretty clean. They had had a couple of offers previously that just didn't pan out.
Mhm.
But I think we did a good
Okay.
job on this one.
And what did you write at? Did you like how did that conversation go as far as was it just straight up, we should write an offer? Was it more you asking them if they wanted to write an offer? Did you disclose, what you thought the comps were and where you should come in at the offer and discuss the contingencies? Did you go in that much detail or did you kind of keep it simple?
A little bit of both.
Okay.
So I when we first saw the home and they drove up and they're like, "Is it okay if we park in the driveway?" I'm like, "Yeah, how does it feel to park in your new driveway?" And that
Nice.
was even before we started writing offers on the property. So they're like,
That's
"Oh
awesome.
yeah, yeah," so kind of getting their feel for it.
Hmm.
Um, but when it came down to like numbers of everything, they knew what they qualified for.
Right.
And so that had a big like a big obviously what they wanted to stay in, right?
Yeah.
So we couldn't go over that. And it was priced fairly well, especially for the
Okay.
type of home that we were getting. Um, there wasn't too much on that negotiating side, but I did let them know, however, that I would do my best to still get them a phenomenal deal, even if it wasn't changing the price on it.
Right.
So we were still able to negotiate, all of the appliances to be left,
Nice.
which is huge out of pocket costs when moving.
Yes. Yes.
I was able to negotiate for them to cover obviously the home warranty, which saves
Yep.
them money, as well as the termite report and Section 1 clearance, which can be huge too on properties,
Yes.
and their closing costs they're covering. So
Wow.
we got it at a good price, I feel like, especially all of that being included.
That's
Um,
awesome.
and any repairs that the HOA required prior to the home selling, they're
Mm,
taking care of that for us. So we're in complete
nice.
compliance.
That's awesome. Did you include all of those things in the offer or is that something you discussed with the listing agent before you wrote the offer up as far as
So
the appliances and everything being included, closing costs, all of that?
So we did not discuss those things. We
Oh
did
wow.
discuss like a credit
Mm-hmm.
possibly to help like with the HOA fees and stuff, but not necessarily the closing cost. So and we didn't discuss any of those other things that I had written into the offer, but I knew that the home had been there for a little while. It was sitting there. And I knew that the sellers had motivation to move, right?
Mm-hmm.
And my buyers have strong motivation to move in very quickly as well.
Mm-hmm.
So the stars kind of just aligned, and it's all
Right.
about who you work with and how you communicate with people, that we were able
Exactly.
to get that done.
Awesome. And I love what you said about that you negotiated the appliances, you negotiated the section one, you negotiated closing costs, you negotiated them to pay for the warranty, right? Because a lot of times in my experience, even just hearing that it's I've written contracts and that's what I always include. I always include all of those things in every single contract. It seems like it's something that's just included but by kind of expressing to the client, hey, look, I'm going to negotiate so that you have a stove when you move in, you have a dishwasher, we could cover some HOA dues. I think that makes it seem like, you're actually doing more than just simply getting a piece of paper,
Right.
writing a price. You're actually doing negotiation on your end, which is, earning your commission, right?
Right.
And so that's a really good point. And then how was the escrow? Were there any hiccups during escrow? Was it pretty smooth because of the lender you were working with, or how did that work, and how long was the escrow?
So we're actually in escrow right now.
Oh,
Um,
nice. Okay, sorry about
we
that.
No, you're good. We just opened up escrow 2 days ago. So
Okay, nice.
still fairly new. But we have an in-house lender that's really great.
Hmm.
His name is David. He works for JJ
Yeah,
Mortgage, and
awesome. Yes,
is always able to answer questions, pick up the phone, send him a quick text. He responds, calls the clients back, which is really important when you're working with a lender as well. So I'm
yes.
looking forward to a smooth transaction, and hopefully we get a quick closing as well.
Awesome. Well, congratulations once again. I really appreciate you sharing your success story. I know I learned a lot. I know this will help a lot of the agents, just a lot of the details that you included. Everyone's different in how they approach, asking to write an offer, getting into escrow, contacting agents. And so I really appreciate you taking the time. And this should be uploaded in a few days so we can rewatch ourselves.
Well, thank you so much for your time today.
Yes, thanks, Emily. Take care and good
Bye.
luck on your new opening.
Thank you.
All right, take care.